Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome back to Builds with Anna. So today we are in Willow Creek and we are building a modern family home. This home is 4x1, so 4 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And I envisioned this home to have a fairly large family. So I believe there is a male child, a female toddler, a female teen, and the parents. And this is a home that when I was building this home, I had recently installed a whole heap of DLC into my game. Packs like Dine Out and Get to Work and the Werewolves pack and a couple of things. So this was a build where I just opened my game and I really wanted to explore some of those objects. And I was really enjoying the dine out objects. And that is why this house ended up leaning a lot more modern than I would like. I did want to do more of a suburban home. But sometimes I do this with my modern builds where it's a modern home, but it has that kind of element of a suburban. And that's kind of the best way to describe the style of this home, especially. All right, so let's get into the build. So we are very much working on the roofing. The roofing of this house, it was a bit tedious as you've seen this unfold. But this is mainly the shape of the house. And I did start off with 2 dormers as you saw, but in the end, sometimes it's better to have the one and it be a larger size than to have 2 that it just crowds the top of the building. Now, bear in mind that dormer is strictly decoration. We do not have any room up there, but as with a lot of my builds, if you are interested in downloading this build, you could easily add a staircase and utilize that extra room upstairs. And I do enjoy doing that with my builds, because when you download a house off the gallery, like for all I know, people, delete all the furniture and they decorate it how they would like and what have you. So I like to make my builds have room for expansion. Okay, so let's talk about the color of this house. I believe it was Spa Day, we just saw there, the wallpaper and that kind of teal kind of green. I thought it was beautiful and I really ran with it. And then that kind of set the tone for the color palette of the build, where it was definitely minimal, but it had pops of color, kind of pretty much standard Anna building right here. So we'll see that in a minute. Okay, so we're working on the floor plan. Now the floor plan for this one is quite interesting. The bedrooms aren't very big. There are 4 of them, but they're not very big. We have open living and kitchen. And yeah, it is 1 story. So it would have potentially have been more spacious if I had included the upstairs. But it didn't really feel like to me that without having to redo the whole floor plan, you couldn't really comfortably place a staircase. So I think in the end, what we went with works. Okay, so I went with those doors because they kind of look a little bit like French doors to me, and I really like the white on and how it contrasts with that teal, that blue. So we do use white columns and white doors and what have you, and just light wood tones, and it just really allows the elements and pops of color that we do use to really stand out. As you can see, so this is basically the final layout. We're just going in with a light wood tone flooring in most of the house as we normally do. As I said, I painted the upstairs just in case you guys wanted to download this house and utilize that room. So I've used a half wall. In that will be the kitchen. And I love using half walls just simply as division. It creates, it creates that division, but it also it doesn't take away the full flow and openness of the space, which I think is really important. And the tall windows that we're using in the outside here really play on that modern type element. The staircase is more modern than it is suburban. The fencing's more modern. So there are elements of that modern vibe that we are getting in, but overall it very much looks and is decorated to be a somewhat more suburban home, which I kind of like. I kind of like that little bit of a mixture of styles. So yeah, I really liked how this kind of terracotta pavement turned out. I do end up placing it all at the front, and I leave little gaps because obviously I do my garden beds in there. Again, that's another tip. You can do that with a tiling or pavement. You can purposely leave gaps like I am here, go in with the smooth keeper base game fence, draw out garden beds, and it just looks so neat and tidy and clean. And that was the vibe of this build. So everything to me, I wanted to be precise and intentional. So for a family home, the backyard isn't too bad. It's pretty fairly sized, and I'm just working out here how much I want to pave, and generally I like to connect the front to the back. So I've just used some quarter tiles there. So just a reminder for everybody at home, in order to place quarter tiles, press Control F, and that will give you the quarter tile. Place the tiles down as you need, and then press Control F to return it back to a full tile. Alrighty, I've been doing this a lot lately, where I've been doing these kind of little faux garden beds inside grass path areas. So you've seen that I've done that there, and I've really enjoyed that because it's allowed me to create like a little focal piece without it being like out of place. It's still part of the garden, it's still part of that landscaping, but it just looks so nice as well. And yeah, so this house, I don't normally plant lavenders, and it's quite interesting because when I was growing up, I used to have lavenders all the time. It was something that my mum really loved. She loves the color purple. They grew all the time at home. So we're using lavenders in this. So as I normally do, the landscaping, I generally pick a few flowers, like these irises from the Romantic Garden Stuff Pack. Is it Stuff Pack? I believe it is, yeah. They are beautiful. So we're really using a lot of purples and whites in the front, and I believe the back. We'll get to the back in a minute. Yeah, I think it is just the daisies, yeah. The standard daisies I use in every build. We're not surprised. But yeah, I really loved that I got to use those lavenders and those irises. I never really remember to use the Romantic Garden Stuff Pack, even though it really does have some really good pieces in it. So yeah, and this is where I really started getting into some of the new items that I had received from, the DLC that I had purchased. And again, these get to work chairs, I love these things. I think they're so cool. I think they kind of give you a modern kind of contemporary vibe, and they don't really look comfortable, I must say, but they look really appealing. So I thought doing like a front little entrance, and that's when I kind of really started to go through and see the items that we got with the Dine Out pack. And I was like, why did I sit on this pack? Because absolutely adored them. This kitchen, I also want to give another shout out to a stuff pack. So this is the cool kitchen stuff. We go to town with these objects. So this was a new DLC that I had purchased at this time. And the kitchen that I was able to create, I'm going to go as far as to say that this is one of my favorite family kitchens. I really like the space and how bright it is. And I think that the concept of having the kitchen be like obviously a back against wall, but then you put in a half wall and then you create like the other half of that kitchen, it gave me so much more space. And it's been something that I've been loving to do in my builds. So there's a couple of builds coming up where you will see this kind of layout where you'll have a half wall introduced in a kitchen, and I'm obsessed. The dine out plan, we knew we were going to see it, and just in that, I love those tall windows and the light that they bring into the builds. They just create I love to play in houses like this, and this is very much a house that I would have a family and I would actually play. I don't play a lot, but I would make an effort to play in this household. There's a couple that I've built lately that they're definitely ones that if I would play, I would play in those households. Alrighty, so we are now in the small kind of living room. It's not big, I'll be honest with you, but it has everything you need. And we have kind of moved away from the neutral tones, and we are now introducing a lot of color. And yeah, so you'll see that with the bean bags. I've used the Dream Home Decorator cabinets as kind of like a faux TV unit, and I just really enjoy how it turned out. Okay, so we are back into the lounge room. And again, I do this with all my builds. Seasonal Anna watchers, you would probably know what I'm about to say. I always have elements in my build that depict children. I want people to know that there are children in this build. I want you to know it's a family home. I want you to not know that from the title, but to know that from my rooms. I believe in really, really cluttering and showing personality in spaces, and they're the type of houses that I really enjoy. However, in saying that, in this particular build, there were areas where I wanted it to be very clean, very minimal, because that would play more on that modern style, as opposed to a suburban house where you can have it overly cluttered and it looks very much in place. So because I've got teens and kids and what have you, I really just wanted to kind of add objects that made sense. So I've got, the toy box there. It's not operational, but it's cute. Footballs and lots of skill building and lots of you've got the cheer thing. So there's lots of little objects that depict that there's definitely children in this home. And also, I just forgot, there's pets. So I believe that I just put objects to kind of enough for like a dog. But, again, you just add a litter box and a cat tree and what have you, and it could definitely be for a cat. So this hallway, I just thought, why not make like a little office nook? I tend to do this with a lot of my builds. If there's a hallway, you'll always see an office, a sitting area, and what have you. So the entryway of this build, I actually really enjoyed. So I really kind of enjoyed how I did this, where, as you can see, I've used that mirror and used that end table. Why do I always say an end table? It's a side table, sorry. And I've just put that little object from high school years that has the keys and the rows. I love that thing. It just makes so much sense in real life to have keys by an entryway. And so we are now moving into the main bathroom. So this is I think it's the only bathroom. Yeah, it's the only bathroom in this house. And as you can see, we've got the toddler potty. I did remember, stickers on the mirror because, again, we're playing on that. Children live here and what have you. And I just really wanted to make this a family bathroom. So that's why I added that. I added robes. I added lots of towels and what have you. I thought that broom item was a nice little way to kind of fill in the hallways. I like my hallways, I like them to be furnished but not cluttered. I know it's very strange, but when you look at my builds, I don't like to have like major areas of the house be empty, but I don't want them to be too cluttered, unless that's the vibe I'm going for. All right, so we are very much into the master bedroom, and this was the moment I discovered the dine-out curtains, and I'm obsessed. Everyone at home's like, I've been obsessed with them for a while because the pack is so old, but to me, they're new, and I really, really enjoyed that this master bedroom I was able to create. That ottoman is top tier of some of the objects in the game. And it's just a very simple space. Okay, moving on. We are in the teen girls' bedroom. And this was quite a tight room. It was very kind of small. I really wish it would have been bigger, but due to the floor plan and I wanted to have multiple rooms, this was the best I could work with. I want to say it's different to the other teen rooms I've been creating, but it's not. It is getting a little bit like that with the high school pack now, where I've used so many assets so often that the rooms that I'm creating aren't really that different. But, I still think it's appealing and I still try to add in elements where I can. This was the type of build where I didn't really have personalities picked out. I just kind of had, okay, I'm going to have this many children, I'm going to have this many rooms that I need, and then just kind of created, which I normally have personalities that help me decorate, but I didn't this time. However, this children's room that we are currently in, I kind of did have a bit of a personality. So it was a smaller room, as you can see, but I really loved that orange and red, and I really ran with it. And I thought that maybe they were into music, but really into animals. And there's, as I said, there's the space lantern, there's stories, maybe they're very adventurous. I don't know. That's kind of what I perceive from this space. Whilst that teens room was very girly, we used that kind of tartaned printed baby pink, wallpaper. And then we're into the toddler's room. Now you can tell that the werewolf's pack was new to me at this time because I used the toddler bed that came from there. I just really liked the patchwork on it. I thought that it still was applicable. Maybe it was a hand-me-down. It's a large family. Quite often, if that's the youngest of what would have been 3 children, it would have been passed down. But it's a very simple toddler room. I know we didn't stay in there for very long, but it was a very basic room. So we're definitely thought to move on. We're in the outside and we are decorating this outdoor area. And I just cluttered this. I had, I've got the basketball hoop, I've got the children's monkey bars and the toddler slide. And I really love this little entertaining area I've created. Those poolside dining chairs with the table, it's so pretty. Like it just matches. Again, it combines that style of something that may be a little bit more suburban with those pool chairs with a glass table that is a little bit more modern, and it just pairs so nicely. And I really enjoy how it turned out. Just putting out some lighting, lots of school items as you can see. We've got the chess table, we've got the planter boxes, which at this point we're not surprised. And yeah, so that is today's build. And now we are very much into the tour. So this is that kind of entryway where you walk into the living area, where you have your office nook to the side. This very kind of minimal kitchen, but it's so pretty. The tones, lots of dine out, lots of cool kitchen stuff in that pack. I did just realize I haven't put a rug in the master bedroom, so we are here now. That's from the industrial loft kit, which is very much a complementary pack to go with what we've used. That teen bedroom, there's the toddler room. We've had a little bit more look into there. And that fun kids room that's very vibrant, full of color. And the outside. So that dining area, the play equipment, and we're back to the front. And that is today's build. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed how the exterior of this house turned out. To me, sometimes my interior design skills aren't the greatest, but I do pride myself on making a pretty building. So with that said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.